Jeff Slauson here from 19 News Now at the 19 News Digital Desk, and welcome to America Decides. The Ohio primary day is here and officially done. Polls have closed as of 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, and of course, as the polls start to roll in, we like to be able to bring you the latest here. Now, we do not have the numbers coming in as of right now, but I want to just walk through as we are getting ready for and trying to learn a little bit more about what we could be seeing, what the numbers look like. But of course, we want to just prime you with the races to pay attention to. What you would have seen on your ballot today for those that did vote here. And again, this is the primary. So essentially in the state of Ohio, you can choose Republican, you can choose Democrat, or you can choose independent. On the independent one, you would not have voted for a candidate here. And then ultimately you will see the names that win on the November election. Donald Trump has already been declared the winner in the Republican race for the presidential nominee, as well as his Democratic opponent, Joe Biden. So regardless of what happens today here in the state of Ohio, it really doesn't matter. It's not like years previous where we've seen a real struggle or a real race. This just wasn't the case at all. There was no need for either one. So these two we're not going to necessarily focus on as much. Here's what we will focus on here. The race for Senate is the largest race, I would say, as of right now, between Frank LaRose, Bernie Moreno, and Matt Dolan. Businessman Bernie Moreno has been endorsed by President Donald Trump. Matt Dolan has been endorsed by Governor Mike DeWine. Well, a little bit of a differing situation there. And then, of course, the Secretary of State in the state of Ohio, Frank LaRose, did not receive one of those two key endorsements. Matt Dolan, for those that are familiar, related to the Dolan family, related to the Cleveland Guardians, he did not get that endorsement from the president. He also did not get the endorsement from J.D. Vance. That endorsement went to Bernie Moreno. So it's essentially going to be a battle of those two, we believe, for the seat. Let's just refresh again, see if anything shows up. It has not as of yet, but that is a main race to consider there. We are not even showing in this Sherrod Brown, who currently has that Senate seat because he is running unopposed on the Democratic side. So the winner of this one will be seeing Sherrod Brown coming up in November. A couple others that we want to hit on here. The first one I want to do is CD6. This is the area that includes East Palestine. For those folks that were there, this is a very unique situation here. The current congressional representative for that district resigned, taking a position with Youngstown State. With his resignation comes an empty seat. So today, on the ballot in East Palestine and other areas that is again in District 6, they had two separate things to vote for. Who's going to have that vacated seat from now until November? So the winner of this will then go to Washington and will become the congressional representative at least until November. And then you also have to vote in the primary. And whoever won that Republican primary will face off the winner of the Democratic primary that you see here. Those two will then go at it, of course, in November. So whoever wins the Republican side of this one for the seat could technically lose the one for the primary. It's unlikely, but that could be the case. That also does not ensure that they'll get a full look. There's only the guarantee, at least, of having that vacated seat from now until November. So that is District 6, District 7. This is another vacant district this is another district that we're looking at, just south of the Cleveland area. The Democratic primary, there is no Republican as of right now. Matthew Deemer, Doug Bougie, both of them seen on that ballot. We also have Districts 9, 11, 13, and 14. I want to just show you those really quickly. These are more districts around our area that you could potentially see. All are Republican. Now, when we look at the Senate race, which again is going to be that main race, I'm going to refresh another time here. Nope, still nothing as far as that goes. It just auto-populates. What we're going to be looking for previous years. So I'm going to click here, and this is going to show 2018. So this is the last time that Sherrod ran, and you will see he won. It was a fairly slim margin there. Normally you would see the darker blues in some of these areas. That's pretty dark, but not as powerful. It's the lighter reds that we're paying more attention to. And some of those more historic districts, like let's go to 2022 and the heat map on that, you can see the change there. So again, I want to go to, this is 2018. A Democrat won the seat. This is a Republican. Look how much darker of a red those are. That shows a more favorable lean toward Republicans. Now, there are districts that were won by Republican, districts that were won by J.D. Vance, and then ultimately helped J.D. Vance get that 53 to 46. But look at just look at that. Sherrod Brown, 53.4, 46.6. Then 6 years later, or 4 years later, excuse me, it's very similar numbers here. It just flipped parties. And again, it's the darker reds that you need to look at. These districts, like over here on the far right-hand side there, look how much darker red they get. So essentially what happened is not many districts were flipped, not many counties were flipped, but counties became deeper red. And that's what we're going to look for today in this, because we have here this election between the three. It'll be really interesting to see where the strongholds were depending on who wins. If one of these three pulls it out, we will definitely look at where they were strongest and consider that and compare that to a map like this, or consider that and compare that to a map like this, where we can potentially tell, let's say that if they were stronger in an area like here, like Delaware County, that very, very slim margin there for Senator Vance, that could be pretty telling coming up, of course, in the November election. So going to go back to the totals here, going to get rid of the heat map there. That again is the past. This is the present that we're looking at right now. Let's click that again. Oh, okay, so we have our first numbers coming in. I'm going to refresh this one more time just to give you an early indication of the numbers that we are currently seeing here. And when I click on Senate, the early numbers, that is 1% reporting and 1% estimated total vote. Now, when we say estimated total vote, that's because if you just go by reporting, if you just go by districts reporting, that does not include absentee ballots, early voting, things like that. All we are getting right now is Columbus. And in Columbus right now, Matt Dolan is currently leading with 45% of the vote. Again, this is 1%. I'll pull this off really quickly here so you can see that right at the bottom there. A very slim margin right now because it's a very slim number. We only have 9,453 votes, 4,443, excuse me, votes reporting as of right now, but an early lead for Matt Dolan, only about 1,000 behind is Bernie Moreno, and 2,400 is Frank LaRose. Now, according to polling that we've been monitoring really gradually across the entire week, it does seem that it's a dead heat, Moreno and Dolan, depending on the one that you would look for. Moreno's ahead or Dolan's ahead. Frank LaRose would be very surprising if he pulled out the nomination and if he pulled out the chance to be on the ballot under the Republican ticket in November. I want to look at a couple of more races here to see if anything else has come in. Nope, it seems that just... Yep, and like I said, these ones don't really matter. We're already declaring the winner to be Joe Biden in Columbus, because again, he was the only one essentially running there. So he's done as far as which areas. So that's why we're not going to really focus on the presidency, because again, regardless of what happens here, they both got the nominee from their party. So it doesn't necessarily totally matter here. But only Columbus, it seems, is reporting as of right now. We wanted to do this just to talk you through the races that are really important here, the ones that we're paying attention to. The congressional district ones are a little more difficult when it comes to this, but the Senate race is the number one that we are looking at right now. And again, you want to look at it to see how favorably a certain area is voting for somebody. The more dominant district that they see, the better, obviously. So we're going to, of course, continue to monitor this as the votes start to trickle in, and as we get closer and closer to a winner, we will do another digital stream on that later tonight. So regardless of who pops out as the winner for the Republican primary here for the Senate race in Ohio, we'll make sure that we bring that to you. We'll bring you the concession speeches, and of course, we'll bring you the victor speech as well. Much more to come on this. We have our weather show premiering right now over on the CW. So if you want to tune into that, you can. It's on for another 20 minutes or so. But of course, we'll have more 19 News tonight at 10 at 11. For now, I'm Jeff Slauson, 19 News. A great night. Much more to come, both on air and online.
19 News, now streaming on Samsung Smart TV. Search for channel 1035.